The Glizzy Gang showdown is coming soon. I think it starts tomorrow. Survey time. Perform emotes, qualify, and reach round 3. None of those are that hard. We're at 35. Melon costume. And nothing else I give a shit about. Yeah, who cares? Any good Squads Duos is back. And an all-fan one. Let's check out that one. You know, as we get started. I haven't played Fall Guys in a week. Like, the last time we... Or, well, it's less, what, 6 days? Because we did it on Saturday, and... I'm still worried about that. Nothing's changed. Because I don't know why it broke last week, and yeah, I don't know if it's going to break again this week. Even though, so I know I said I was going to go through all the points. So last weekend in chat, we kind of had a stream issue, and I was like, you know what, I'll just go back through and redo all my talking points from, like, the second half of the show. Yeah, I actually looked back at that one, and while the video is crap, it's utter garbo, the audio is mostly intact. So, I guess we'll just leave it as it was. Like, yeah, no, the audio was fine. Like, the audio made it through, the video just didn't. Sometimes the video was fine, and then other times it was just garbo. But yeah, so, I do have some of those talking points from last week that that I didn't get to last week, that we're gonna get to this week, but other than that, we've got some new ones this week. We have one big point tonight, the Pokémon Presents, which I'm going to go on about. But other than that, yeah, there were like 1 or 2 things I had to recycle, but not much. Come on. Oh, yes! Score. Yeah, it's just for any summary, I guess, I actually didn't mind the end. I actually liked the final episode of Graduation. Because we finished that. I liked the ending of Graduation. And yeah, overall, I think when I look back on it, I will actually remember Graduation somewhat fondly. Like, I don't know, like, it definitely had its problems, that's for sure. But I think in hindsight, Graduation's actually not that bad. Haven't started Aethercy yet. I have like a million other things to do right now, and Adventure Zone is definitely not one of them. Actually, most podcasts aren't. I am behind on every single podcast I listen to. Yep, even Podquisition and Off Topic, the two I haven't been behind on in like years. I am behind on both of them right now. I think I'm like 2 behind on Podquisition, and I think 3 behind on Off Topic. Fuckface, I think I'm 2 behind on. Face Jam, I don't know, like 10. It's been a while. RT Podcast, I think, is also like 5. That one's pretty big. So yeah, I'm behind, and then there's a bunch of other stuff. Instead, though, I've been listening to the fucking, oh god, what's that podcast? I've been listening to it on my drive down to the university. Instead of listening to Good Morning from Hell, which is the one I used to, nope, instead I've been listening to Triforce, which is, the Yogscast, Lewis, Sibs, and Pyrian. And that podcast is really good. Like, I loved the Ogpod back in the day. And yeah, no, Triforce is pretty good. And because I just, like, it was just like, oh, I needed something to listen to. And I didn't feel like listening to anything I mentioned prior. Right? So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to put on... I'll put on, Triforce. Because I've listened to some of Triforce in the past. And... yeah, it's pretty good, and yeah, I've been enjoying it. I've been getting caught up on recent episodes because I guess they took a break at some point, so I've been going back through that. It's not a podcast I listen to very often, which I should listen to it more because it's good. Yeah, I just don't have the time for anything except for this one, which But yeah, it's not like I've been playing any video games. Well, other than Animal Crossing, but legit, again, Animal Crossing takes 10, 30 minutes at most. I've had, I think yesterday, 10 minutes at most. And that was getting all the fossils, the money tree, all that. And I think today was like 30. But that was because I had fruit today. And I had something else to take care of as well. Was it Gulliver? No, it wasn't Gulliver. It was... I don't remember. There was something I did take care of, though, instead. Maybe it was Gulliver. Or Gullivar, maybe. Still waiting on paintings. I think I'm down to 10. Because I have had What's-His-Face show up. And I think I'm within... Like, by the end of the year, hopefully, so 4 months, I will have finished all the paintings. Of course, I have a bunch of duplicates. If anybody was willing to trade. But, yeah. It's mostly statues. I'm missing, like, 3 paintings. And I think the other 7 are statues. It's something like that. It's kind of dumb. Man. And then I haven't been playing Fall Guys, but I am curious, but I do want that golden hot dog. Because what, 2 weeks ago we got the Ratchet costume super easily. And yeah, I guess I do want that golden hot dog. That seems like a cool costume. And they say you've only got 2 days to get it. And they say it's a hard get, so that'll be interesting. And then, yeah, have I been doing anything else? Well, I mean, we'll talk about other stuff in WIBE, obviously, but, yeah. Anything else I talked about last week that I talked about Islander, which I played, like, once more since then. I've just been so busy. Now that school started back up again. Oh, God, and I'm only going to get busier, because I've started some classes, but I start even more classes on Monday. Oh my God, we actually got that. I was like, nope, we fell too low. Because I thought I had to jump into the fans. I didn't think it would just send me. We didn't get first. I thought we got second, right? Holy shit. Wow, that's fast. Anything else? I've been watching Mitten Squad again. Yeah, that's what I've been doing in my, like, what little free time I have, or while I'm working, I'll put Mitten Squad on in the background. Really good. God, man. Like, I go in waves with Mitten Squad where it's like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. And then I watch too many videos at the same time, and I'm like, I'm so sick of this. I just need something else. So then I go watch, so then I'll move on, and then like a few months later, I'll think about it again. And I'll be like, oh yeah, this is the greatest thing ever. It's coming. Okay, that fan, I was expecting that fan to be a little worse. Honestly. Oh, I should talk about that. Ooh, I'll add that. I don't have that on WIBE, but note to self, add that to WIBE. I know the fan will screw you over if you're on the, thing. I'll read chat in a second. I'm focusing. I'm gonna freaking win this. Okay, I'm not going to win this. But, shit. Oh, God. Fan, jump. Still haven't been doing those Marvel videos. I am like, What If has started, and What If's, I've been enjoying it. It's got some flaws, sure, but I've been enjoying What If. And yet I haven't done a single video on it yet. I'm terrible. Gosh, we're all too good at this. Eventually that fan's gonna screw us. That's what's gonna come to get us. That's the bigger issue. Oh, there I go. Is that? How you doing? I'm just busy. I'm busy and tired. School is, I don't want to say kicking my ass. Like, I'm not struggling with school. I'm just tired. It's a lot of work. Right? It's just right off the bat. It's been a lot. And I've just been tired. But I still find time to do in chat, even if I miss. Well, okay, I tried last week. I've been having stream issues. Yeah, it's good to see you, Brainless. So, first news story tonight. Where is that? So we actually have Fortnite news. It used to be a running joke in this show that I would talk about Fortnite every time because they kept doing stupid shit. And then I just stopped, and then I didn't want to talk about the Apple lawsuit because, like, fuck. Even though I know we did. Like, I know, because, you know, there were some Nintendo things in the Apple Epic lawsuit, because Fortnite is not the little guy anymore. They're the big fish. They're the big bad developers. And, I mean, so is Apple, but Epic Games, they're the big bad developers, and what they did is pretty shitty. So back in December, we might have talked about this on Animal Crossing, because, you know, we were doing Animal Crossing every day. So I probably got around to it. But there was a fan-made mode in Fortnite that added Among Us into Fortnite. Which I don't remember what I said at the time, but in hindsight, that's not bad. That's right, a fan-made mode adding Among Us into Fortnite, that's fine. I remember when people created TF2 in Minecraft. Minecraft, like, everyone created every minigame in Minecraft. Right? If your game could be in Minecraft, somebody put it in Minecraft. That was a thing. So, like, the idea of, like, hey, guess what? Fans made Among Us in Fortnite, that's fine. Right? Even in Fortnite, like, the fan-made mod in Fortnite is... There's a fan-made mod, or there's a fan-made mod in Among Us that adds Town of Salem to Fortnite. God, I cannot speak. There is a Among Us mod that adds Town of Salem to Among Us. Even though that might have got changed recently for copyright reasons or whatever. And that mod is really cool. That mod is the most fun I've had in Among Us ever. Right? Doing all the Town of Salem roles. Super fun. Really enjoy it. Highly recommend it. It really revitalized that game. And I still watch Chilled Chaos and company play it all the time. So yeah, no, the Town of Salem mod in Among Us is great. So the idea of like a fan-made mod in Fortnite that adds in Among Us, that's fine. Because I know they did Among Us in like VR chat. I know they did Among Us in Minecraft at some point. Was it Dream who I saw play Among Us in Minecraft at some point? I think it was Dream. Sounds like something he would do. But yeah, so what happened this week is that fan-made Among Us mod is now an officially licensed, like, I don't think it's the same mod, but Fortnite has literally added an Among Us mode. They don't call it the Among Us mode, but it's something, they literally use the same, like, name scheme. Like, you're in the spacecraft, and you're trying to suss out the imposters among you. It's called Imposter, yeah. Oh god, I remember playing Trouble in Terrorist Town in Minecraft. I played more Trouble in Terrorist Town in Minecraft than I did in Gmod. You're in the is it the office building? Whatever it is, it's like, this is the most blatant ripoff I've seen of a game that's not like a Chinese bootleg. That also, yeah, this is pretty bad. Like, this is, I mean, okay, admittedly, this is not, like, okay, that's exaggeration, me saying this is the biggest ripoff. That's exaggeration. But this is pretty scummy. Not that it's out of character for Epic Games, because again, quick history lesson for those who don't know. Fortnite started off as just like a building game, probably trying to ape off Minecraft. Admittedly, it was probably because Minecraft was huge. And then while in development, they were like, hey, PUBG is big. What if we just rip off PUBG and add a Battle Royale mode? And then their Battle Royale mode became bigger than PUBG. And now PUBG is dead? Question mark? I'm not sure. I haven't played it in forever, so I wouldn't know. I used to love PUBG, though. I've admitted that before. But yeah, no, it's... This, right, Fortnite ripped off PUBG, so them ripping off Among Us, not surprising at all. Of course, a lot of people call Among Us dead game. It's not. I mean, I can't, like, dead games, like, if you call a dead game, if someone's going to call, like, hey, this is a dead game, that means it's not a dead game. Didn't Fortnite... I think there were zombies in the original Fortnite. That wouldn't surprise me. I know PUBG started off as a zombie game. PUBG started off as H1Z1, which I did play, and I do remember someone creating H1Z1 in Minecraft. So that's another... Again, Minecraft as a sandbox is great for stuff like this. Right. But yeah, no, PUBG I remember being a building game. I remember when, Rooster Teeth did an immersion for PUBG, or for Fortnite. Yeah, Rooster Teeth did an immersion for Fortnite before the Battle Royale thing had been announced. They were on that shit before anybody else was. And, of course, they got left by the wayside, but hey, when you become the biggest game in the world... God. And, we'll talk about the movie Free Guy later, but Among Us is really trying to force themselves into popular. Like, I know they're big. They were in, Avengers Endgame? They're in Free Guy as well. And not subtlety. Not, like, there's a scene where, like, they pull out, like, a bunch of classic video game weapons, like the portal gun, and Fortnite weapons are among them. So, like, Fortnite is really trying to be like, no, we're one of the biggest things in gaming. Which, I mean, to be fair, they kind of are, but there's just something about it that feels, like, so artificial. Like, the portal gun being in there is really cool, right? And that's something that's, like, earned its weight in gold or whatever, right? Like, it's worthy of, like, being like, hey, the portal gun, right? Such a big thing with such a nomenclature. But the Fortnite pickaxe? Really? The loot pinata that has a stupid name, probably? Really? I mean, I guess it's working. But, yeah. But, yeah, so Fortnite ripping off Among Us is just, like, it doesn't surprise me. This is kind of Epic's MO. I mean, I know Cliff Bleszinski... Was it Cliff Bleszinski? Cliff Bleszinski, who made Gears of War, worked at Epic at one point. I don't think he founded the studio, but I know for a fact he worked at Epic at some point. I'm pretty sure, because then he left to make his own studio, and then his own studio made the PUBG ripoff, well, first they made an Overwatch ripoff called, I think, not Bleeding Edge. Bleeding Edge is another forgettable game. See, because what I was saying about when people call games dead games, if you call something a dead game, it's not a dead game. The real dead games are the ones nobody's fucking talking about, like Bleeding Edge. Like, do you know what the fuck Bleeding Edge is? You probably don't. And I can't even remember Cliff Bleszinski's Overwatch ripoff. I know his Fortnite ripoff, which was a PUBG ripoff, was called, I want to say, Lawbreakers? Or no, was it called... Maybe his Overwatch ripoff was called Lawbreakers, and his Fortnite ripoff was called... something Paradise? PD Paradise is a Family Guy ripoff, so I know it's not that. But it was something like that. I'm gonna look it up real quick. But those are dead games. No, I mean, admittedly, I think the servers have been shut down for both of those games, but nobody's talking about those games. Radical Heights. That's what it was called. Yep, Radical Heights was a Fortnite ripoff by Cliff Bleszinski. I think it was Cliff Bleszinski anyways. Because, yeah, I don't know if he founded Epic, but he was definitely involved with Epic. Oh, God. Oh, hey, I like the fans. But, yeah, this doesn't surprise me at all. And, you know, you hear the developers of Fortnite talk, or of Among Us talk about Fortnite ripping them off, because, you know, you can't copyright gameplay mechanics, because, again, if you did, Nintendo would own all of them, or I guess Atari would own all of them, but Nintendo would have its fair share to the throne and whatnot. But I don't know, and I think it's a good thing you can't copyright gameplay mechanics. That, like, you can't copyright, like, the Among Us formula. Because, and again, Among Us isn't technically the first game to do that. I'd give credit to games like Spy Party before I'd give it credit to Among Us. Or even Trouble in Terrorist Town, which was a Gmod thing that I loved. Oh my gosh. I love Trouble in Terrorist Town. The original, the Minecraft version, all fantastic. That brings back memories, playing Trouble in Terrorist Town in Minecraft. And then Trouble in Terrorist Town got its own set of, like, original roles. Like, oh god, I don't remember what any of them are called, besides for Jester. Hypnotist. And those were also really cool, and they, like, revitalized that game. So many classics. I mean, do we really want Bethesda to be the only company that can make first-person shooters? I mean, okay, that wouldn't be entirely terrible, but... God. What was I talking... Yeah, just... Oh, so the Among Us and Fortnite thing is scummy, but it's it's not a surprise for Epic. Epic does this shit all the time. That's literally how Fortnite was created, and then Fortnite Battle Royale, and now this imposter mode. Yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me at all. It's just kind of like, if this had been like an official collaboration, I would have been like, cool. And they own freaking Fall Guys now. I should say that. They also, like, I would also have not been surprised if there was a Fall Guys mode in Fortnite, but no, Epic owns Fall Guys now, so that doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah, it's just something. God, how did I talk about that? There was like... fan-made, though? Yeah, the fan-made stuff is fine. I have no problem with fan-made stuff. And you do get some cool shit out of fan-made stuff. I mean, can't think of any other. I mean, there's dozens of examples. Oh God, remember? Oh God. Oh, here's a nostalgia trip for you. Remember when someone made the mod thing that added the portal gun into Mario? I think it's Mario. Oh God, that's a nostalgia trip right there for me. Ah, that was so cool. Ah, Mario with the portal gun. Ah, classic. Classic. Sucks that video, my first Achievement Hunter video, or I was Rooster Teeth at the time, is I can't watch it anymore. God damn it, James Haywood. Fuck! Come on, that was stupid. Or, remember when someone made Mario into a Battle Royale, and it was actually really cool, and then Nintendo copyright striked it, and released their own Battle Royale that was somehow worse? And then they took it offline after, like, only, like, 6 weeks, because fuck. Nintendo's suing problem is shitty. Yeah. Well, I mean, admittedly, they don't always sue people. It's more just they give it, oh, hey, look, we got a crown. Cool. It's more that they just give out cease and desist letters. And the key there, though, is to, if you're working on a Nintendo fan project, don't announce it until it's completed. And you announce it the day it's completed, put it out there, and then when Nintendo sends you a cease and desist letter, there's copies out there so people can get on it. Okay. Yeah, that's how you do it. You don't announce your... Like, there was... Someone announced a project they were working on recently. I think it was a Zelda thing. They were, like, using... Because, you know, a bunch of, like, Nintendo source codes and whatnot have leaked. And someone announced a Zelda... I think it was an Ocarina of Time, or a Link to... It was either Ocarina of Time or Link to the Past. There was some sort of project... And it was announced that they were doing it. And while I don't think they got a cease and desist letter yet, it was like, no, you don't announce this until it's done. AM2R, right? I still have a copy of AM2R somewheres. I don't know where, but I know I have one. Because that shit got taken down. So, speaking of Nintendo, let's talk about the Pokemon Company, which is a completely different thing from Nintendo. So this is kind of our main story tonight. So there was a Pokemon Presents. I've broken it down into 3 sections. We'll talk about the bullshit I don't care about, which is what we're doing right now. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and then we'll talk Legends Arceus. So the bullshit I didn't care about. Let's see. That microtransaction riddled mess of a game that the Pokemon Company released, that's literally that both has like cosmetic microtransactions but also literally has pay to win microtransactions. You know, the worst type of microtransaction. Like, cosmetic are bad, pay to win is even worse, and then the game also has loot boxes, because literally this is one of the worst monetized games ever, and they're trying to sell it to kids. You know, Pokemon Unite. Yeah, well, hey, guess what? It's getting an update. Again, and it sounds like a really good game. From everything I've heard from people playing it, it's actually pretty fun and well-designed, but the monetization is just some of the worst in the games industry. I'm sure, like, there's worse stuff in the mobile market, but this is basically as bad as you can get. This is as bad as this is probably worse than anything, Activision Blizzard has ever done, or EA, and probably Activision Blizzard. And you know, it's the Pokemon Company, so people love Pokemon, so they're just gonna bite it up, and they love this shit. Even though this is super scummy. I mean, FIFA gets away with it, and FIFA's also really bad, as does NBA 2K, which is also pretty bad. Right, the NBA 2K series is basically a casino simulator at this point, with like a basketball game kind of mixed in. Yeah, it's bad. Gosh dang it, I'm trying to get over it. But no, once I go Silly Lake, I can't do it. We're out. Yeah. But yeah, so they announced new Pokemon coming to Pokemon Unite. I don't give a fuck. It's coming to mobile next month. Again, I don't give a fuck. The monetization in this game is fucking terrible. Don't play it. Don't support this scum. Like, people are always like, oh, well, hey, at least the game doesn't have right? Like, people will look at a game and be like, oh, well, it has microtransactions, but at least it doesn't have loot boxes. Or, hey, all the microtransactions are only cosmetic, so it's not that big of a deal. It is a big deal. Games used to just give you all the game. That used to be how it was. You would buy a game, and you would get all of the game. That's not how it works anymore. And it's fucking sad. Oh, we have to do an emote one, don't we? Let's just do some regular show. Or, yeah, let's just do some regular show. Because we gotta get that emote thing. But yeah, no, you used to just get the full game. And now, like this Pokemon Unite, if this was like a paid-for game, like kind of like the stuff Pokemon was doing in the early 2000s, this would be amazing. Right? As with like the next thing, that Pokemon Cafe mix, that would be an amazing game. I would love that. But it's not. This is a microtransaction riddled mess. So next up, Pokemon Cafe. So Pokemon Cafe Mix is a game. I never played it. I don't know. There was that Pokemon puzzle game on 3DS that was a freemium game that I thought was fine. I enjoyed it, and the monetization never felt like too bad. Like, I never spent $1 on it, and I never felt like I had to, but but that was like literally the first or second Pokemon game to have, to be a freemium game. It was one of the first, so yeah. So that's why it wasn't so bad. God, remember when Nintendo made a mobile game and they just charged you for the game, no monetization whatsoever, and it was like, the game, Mario Run is the one I'm talking about. Like, it wasn't anything amazing, but, for the price, it was fine. I enjoyed Mario Run fine enough. And now they've just, that one day, I saw somebody put it out, that, like, one day you're gonna wake up, and that Mario Kart mobile game is going to have 200 characters. It's going to have every Mario Kart track ever. It's going to have a double dash mode. That's the truth. That one day that's going to happen. Yep. Oh, I could have waited at the finish line for a minute and done my emotes. But yeah. So yeah, Cafe Remix. They're doing the game. You know what? If they just made it an actual game you pay money for, and like got rid of all the microtransactions and just made a good solid game, oh, I'd totally buy it. But because, and maybe, keep the price down. Not every Nintendo game has to be $60. I'm convinced people no longer know what $60 is like worth in the game industry, which admittedly, that is a fair assessment, because you have games like Hollow Knight. You can buy Hollow Knight. I've seen it on sale for $10, and that's got more content than almost any AAA game out there, and it's like $10. So yeah, I totally get the who knows what $60 is worth in the gaming industry anymore. Because yeah, Pokemon. Listening to people talk about Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, it's just like, oh, is this game really worth $60? Like, even looking at all the improvements they've made and everything, people are still like, oh, is this game worth $60? I don't know, but I want you to shut the fuck up about it. I'm so tired of this, oh, is this game actually worth $60 argument? I'm so fucking tired of it. Part of it is, though, that if you're playing like any other game, they aren't $60. Like, $60 is the entry price. Like, if you're playing, like, if you buy, say, an Assassin's Creed game from Ubisoft, the company that mentally and physically abuses its employees, $60 is your entry price. From there, you have probably $100 of DLC. And, let's be generous and say $60 worth of DLC. You have microtransactions. You have, like, and I'm talking about time savers. That, like, double XP. Because they make the game intentionally more grindy to encourage you to buy double XP things. Like, they intentionally make their game worse to encourage you to spend money on microtransactions. That's something that game did. Again, I'm worried that's going to happen to Fall Guys, and in some ways it might have already, and I just haven't noticed it. But yeah, no, microtransactions, but yeah, and then there's that, but then there's also, like, you can spend a microtransaction in Assassin's Creed and get, like, a Pegasus or something like that for, like, $20. Or that Pokemon Unite's a bad example. $60 in many cases is just the starting price for a game, because the game industry is fucking scummy. But yeah, no, so I don't know what $60 is worth anymore. But yeah, Cafe Remix, don't care about. Pokemon Masters EX, you know, the other Pokemon mobile game that seems to be really popular, that is doing some cool stuff. Like, the idea of, like, getting, like, trainers in their Pokemon, that's, like, a cool one, but it's all a gacha system. And the odds, I don't remember what it was, but someone looked at the gacha odds for, like, a game and was like, you have a higher chance of getting into Harvard than you do of getting this rare drop in this gacha game. I don't remember what. I think it was a Nintendo game, but it might have been something else. These gacha things are fucking God. It's loot boxes. It's gambling for children, and they just get away with it because they're Pokemon. But I refuse to play these games, and I'm only talking about them to tell you that, hey, these are gambling for children. They look cool, and if this was like a real proper game, I would love it. But nope, these are gambling for children. The gambling that is marketed towards children. So yeah, let's get into the actual shit I care about. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, that, you know, probably won't have micro... I don't know. Every time... Another thing that I see very common when people talk about this game is that, like, hey, this could have microtransactions in it. People on some level are aware that the Pokemon Company is very scummy, and that they would totally be the first mainline console Nintendo game to add microtransactions. People are well aware of that. So I've seen people be, like, hesitant, like, hey, are they gonna add microtransactions to this game? They might. People are aware of that. I don't think they will. I think for the moment, we are safe, but mark my words, within the next decade, there will be a Pokemon game with loot boxes and microtransactions. And there's another thing I'll say that within the next decade we will see, but we'll get back to that when we talk Legends Arceus. So yeah, when the Switch OLED trailer came out, people were talking about how Pokemon Legends, or Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl had a graphical improvement. Personally, I didn't really see it, but now watching this trailer, I definitely see it. I think this game looks better. I know people don't like the overworld chibi art style, but the thing I will say about it is this is an extremely faithful remake. This is one of the most faithful remakes I have ever seen in the game industry. It's up there with, you know, I guess the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy, which was an extremely faithful remake that, you know, that kept some of the bullshit that the original game had. This also seems to be an extremely faithful remake, which is what people wanted, right? If you had listened to people talk about, like, what they hoped for the Diamond and Pearl remake, a lot of people wanted an extremely faithful remake. And now that they have it, those same people are bitching and moaning that it's too faithful. Because guess what? You can never fucking win with Pokemon fans. I've called Pokemon fans in the past gluttons who would not be satisfied with all the riches of heaven. I've called them cunty little fanboys. Both those things are true. In fact, part of me thinks that calling them gluttons who would not be satisfied with all the riches of heaven is maybe too nice. I was thinking about this the other day. Which fandom is worse? Pokemon or Star Wars? That's a good question. I don't have the answer to it, but they're both fucking terrible. And I could see the argument that Pokemon fans are worse than Star Wars fans. I could also easily see the argument that Star Wars fans are worse than Pokemon fans. But they're both pretty cunty fan bases that are not satisfied with all the riches of heaven, which they have been given. And yeah, God, I don't know. They're basically both the same like fandoms, but for their right, Pokemon fans for games and Star Wars fans for movies. I don't know what would be like the book equivalent or like a music equivalent, but I'm sure they exist. I'm sure somebody could tell me like, oh yeah, this is a book that just has a bunch of cunty fanboys who would not be satisfied with anything. I'm sure they exist. It's probably a sci-fi series, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. I'm down. You know what? I'm not a very nostalgic person. Like, at least I try not to be. Occasionally the nostalgia will hit, and occasionally I'll be like, ah. Or like there are certain like games I would love that like hit right in the nostalgia. Right, like I always say I'd love a new Pokemon Pinball, because that would hit right in the nostalgia. Will we ever get that? Probably not. Or if we do, it's going to be a microtransaction riddled mess. Yeah, I would love a new Pokemon Pinball, but yeah. But yeah, you know what? Watching this trailer again for this, because so there was a period between Gen 3 and 4 where I kind of forgot Pokemon. I admitted this last week. I forgot Pokemon existed. Even though that's only a single generation, and I did play Diamond and Pearl, there was like I don't want to say, it was probably like a 4-year period where, yeah, I just kind of forgot Pokemon existed. Part of it was that I didn't have a DS. But yeah, I just kind of forgot Pokemon existed. And I loved me some Pokemon, you know? And yeah, I just forgot Pokemon existed. But Pokemon's really good. I mean, of course, the other thing about Pokemon fans is that you're not 12 anymore, right? The game, there's this, isn't it crazy how the things we love the most came out when we were the most impressionable? Isn't that crazy? I think that's kind of crazy, right? Things we love the most came out when we were the most impressionable. But it's true. It's true, because at the end of the day, Pokemon is a game about pocket monsters intended for children. And people just can't get over that. The idea that Pokemon is a game about pocket monsters intended for children is just something that drives people crazy. But it is. And guess what? Most people aren't children anymore. So Pokemon's not for you. I'm not a child anymore. I enjoy it, but I do admit it's baby's first RPG. It is. But I enjoy it. It's baby's first RPG, but you know what? I like Kirby's Epic Yarn. I like Pokemon. I know what they are, and I'm happy with that. I don't need Pokemon to change. Right? A lot of people want It's the exact same problem we had with the GameCube. The GameCube came out, and a lot of people got pissed because, you know, they had grown up with the NES, but Nintendo didn't grow up with them with the GameCube. Honestly, the entire, you know what, while we're going there, the entire Pokemon argument right now reminds me of the Wind Waker argument. People complaining about the chibi graphic style, it's the exact same thing that people were saying about Wind Waker. Almost one for one, I've seen things that, like, people said, like, oh, Wind Waker is bad because X. And I've seen people say the new Pokemon game is bad because X. It's one for one the same argument. Like, for fuck's sake. And yeah, this is an entire generation grew up with Nintendo, with Pokemon. Now they're adults and they can't accept it. And that happened with the GameCube. And where are all the M-rated games on GameCube? No, instead GameCube just busted out a bunch of E-rated bangers that are some of the best in the industry, but you know, they were on GameCube and nobody owned a GameCube. Instead, everyone owned a PS2. I owned a PS2, for Christ's sake. Yeah, no, time is a flat circle, as they say. God. I knew this was how this was going to turn out. So let's actually talk about some of the things. Oh, also, real quick with me saying it's extremely faithful, I do worry. Like, I'm fine with, like, I like the way the EXP share works post Gen 4. I like that. I like the new EXP share. I know people don't, and I do feel like it was definitely in Sword and Shield's disservice to not have it being able to turned off. Because I hear of people who played Gen 4, or Gen 6, I mean. If you turn off the EXP share in Gen 6, the game is actually still pretty well balanced. Like, you'll have a good time without it. But, you know, we talked about this last week. Grind culture is dumb. But I don't think I would not be surprised if the old EXP share comes back, where you can only use it once. I also wouldn't be surprised if HMs come back. I fucking hate HMs. I think they're the most annoying thing ever. And Gen 6 had HMs. Gen 7 didn't. And Gen 7 was all the better for it. Gen 8 didn't. Gen 8 didn't have HMs or anything of the sort. I don't even think it had rideable Pokemon. It didn't even try to do anything similar. But yeah, no, I do definitely think that, oh, goddamn, that's it. One bad hit, and you're out. And we just took 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. One bad hit, and you're out, unless everybody else gets hit. Yeah, I hate HMs. I wish they would get rid of them, or find some, like, other way to do HMs. And I know they're not going to change it. I know they're going to bring HMs back for this game, because fuck, of course they are. I hate them. I hate HMs. Gen 7 did it. One day, Gen 7 will get the appreciation it deserves, because Gen 8 did HMs fantastically. Or Gen 7, I mean. Gen 7 will one day get the love it deserves, and people will realize that, no, this game is really good. It's the best game in the series, in my opinion, as of this moment. But yeah, so back on some of the new things. Pokemon Walk With You. If you know, Pokemon Walking With You is one of my favorite features. It's such a little thing, but it adds so much fucking charm. It allows you to bond with your Pokemon, because it's like the anime. In the anime, Ash's Pikachu is always there with him, and they realized that in Pokemon Yellow, and then they finally brought it back for Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and it was great there, and then they didn't bring it back again until Gen 8 with the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra. Pissed me off they didn't add it to the default game. That pisses me off, that they didn't retroactively go back in and fix the normal wild area. But you know what? It was cool there. It was cool in the Crown Tundra and the Isle of Armor, and I'm glad they're bringing it back for this. I'm assuming it's also back for Legends Arceus, even though we don't see it. I'm assuming it is, because it's such a small, like, Pokemon has been, like, really doing this push to, like, bond with your Pokemon. That's something they technically really start in Gen 6 with Pokemon Ami. There's always been, like, elements, there's always been, like, contests, but you know what I mean, right? Like, Pokemon really wants you to bond with your Pokemon. Pokemon Ami, what was the other, contests were, again, always a thing. Campsites in Gen 8. Even if there's not much to do in them, it's conceptually a good idea. And that's how I feel about the Pokemon walking behind you. And I'm glad it's here in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. You better believe I'm going to have my Torterra or whatever I choose walking behind me. I think I'm going to go Torterra, because in my most recent, when I did a playthrough of Gen 4, following along with Chugaconroy for Platinum, I picked Empoleon. So I think I'm going to go Torterra this time, because I don't like the Chimchar and Fernape line. Let's see, next up, stickers. I know I saw a few posts that where people were like, if you don't bring stickers back, we riot. Because, you know, it's another just charming little feature. It doesn't really, it's a purely cosmetic feature that is kind of charming. And yeah, it's back. And yeah, I'm happy for, I only ever used it like once or twice in Diamond and Pearl. but I know it's a feature people like, so I'm glad it's back. That's cool. Union rooms. Union rooms were always kind of weird, like, because, you know, Pokemon had just gotten online play. They didn't really know what to do, but hey, they brought back Union rooms, which hopefully they work better this time. I bet they're probably online. I wonder if I think in one of the previous, in like the reveal trailer for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, they showed the underground area where you could like compete in mini games and whatnot. So I think that's back as well, which is interesting because the mini games and the boat rides in the original Diamond and Pearl Platinum were always kind of cute. So that's a cute thing to have back. They didn't talk about that here, but yeah. Fashion. So, right, character customization is another great little, right, because, you know, people want Pokemon to be an MMORPG. People like customization. Fashion Souls is a thing for a reason. Cosmetics matter. And I do have my worries with Legends Arceus. I don't think I have that written down here, but that one of the pre-order bonus for Legends Arceus, the pre-order bonus for a Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is Manaphy, because, you know, Pokemon has always done this shit. I hate event Pokemon. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Fucking hate event Pokemon. But that's the pre-order bonus for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. The pre-order bonus for Legends Arceus is a different costume. It's, I think, a Growlithe Arcanine costume, which does worry me. But I'm not worried too much. I think Crash Bandicoot 4 had some like pre-order cosmetic things that, like, I don't think that game had any other had any actual microtransactions. So I think it's probably going to be fine. Oh wow, Jinx! I haven't played Jinx in a long time. Now the interesting thing, so you see some of these new costumes. There's some cute costumes in there. I like the Punk Trainer. I think that one's really cute. But the interesting thing is, I think other people have pointed. I noticed this while watching the trailer, but I know other people have noticed it as well. That the place where you buy the costumes in the trailer is the exact same place as the game corner in Gen 4. We already know that because, you know, gambling in video games it's changed. Gambling in video games now constitutes an M rating. Video games use M rating, right? It now constitutes an M rating, so they can't put the gambling corner in Pokemon anymore. Of course, my hope was always just that they'd add in like a new mini game, right? Like, just bring in some like other random mini game. It doesn't have to be gambling. Just bring in something new. And said Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire had fucking nothing. But yeah, my hope but it looks like the location of this new fashion studio place is the exact location of the old game corner. So it looks like that's where they've replaced it. Okay, sure. They've redone contests. Whereas before, contests were, contests, I think, use the touchscreen. This time, they seem to be more of, like, rhythm mini-games. I don't know, this goes back to that thing I was talking about with $60. People always complain about, oh, is this game worth $60? They'll never do the contest. I personally never did the Battle Frontier. I don't expect the Battle Frontier to be coming back. I think the Pokemon Company would earn a lot of good, I don't want to say reputation, but like street cred for adding back in the Battle Frontier, which is something people really want. And I get it. Oh, we're out. I get them wanting the Battle Frontier back. Personally, I never even did the Battle Frontier, but I know people really like it. So, hey, if it comes back, that'd be cool. Because Gen 3 didn't have any... Gen 3 alluded to it, and, like, I could have seen it being DLC, but nope, nothing ever came of it. And, hey, maybe this time things will be different. Kind of doubt it, but, yeah. The remakes otherwise seem very faithful. And the Pokemon Company did announce that, hey, competitive Pokemon play is staying in Sword and Shield. So these Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl aren't going to have competitive play, because that's what replaced the Battle Frontier, is competitive play. They made competitive Pokemon more accessible, and basically as a payoff for that, because, you know, Monkey's Paw, they got rid of Battle Frontier. So, hey, maybe we will actually get the Battle Frontier back. I doubt it, but, you know, anything's possible. This remake is extremely faithful. But yeah, contests, yeah, they look fine. Maybe I'll actually do it this time. I think I messed around with it in the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, because there was like a special Pikachu, and I got the one that had the ice move because it looked really cute. It was like a bell of the ball or whatever. They revamped the underground. I took a look at the underground map. The underground map looks completely different now. They've completely reworked the underground. Again, this might be the biggest feature that they've done. Is not only did they rework the underground, but they added underground hideaways, which are like these special areas. Like there's a forest one, there's an ice one, there's a lava one, and depending on what you put in your secret base, it changes what appears in these underground hideaways. That's really cool. So secret bases is also a feature I never messed around with personally. I never really cared. But the underground stuff in Gen 4 I always liked. The Spirit Tomb stuff was cool, and I'm sure that's back. The fossil stuff I'm assuming is also back. But these new underground hideaways have actual like roaming Pokemon. Because while random encounters is how this game works, these underground hideaways have like you can see the Pokemon walking around, and I can guarantee that this is where these will have increased shiny odds. Because that's been a thing that the Pokemon Company has been doing, where they'll put in like a special area that has increased shiny odds. In Gen 6, it was the Friend Safari. In Gen 7, I think there were like special islands you can go to that had increased shiny odds. And technically in Gen 8, it's the max raid battles that have increased shiny odds. But yeah, no, that's just something the Pokemon Company has been doing. There might have even been something in Gen 5, I don't remember. But I remember the Friend Safari in Gen 6, like, had highly increased shiny odds. And there's been, like, other strategies, you know? There'll be, like, some other, like, chain strategy or whatever. Probably. But no, I think this underground base is, yeah, it's going to have something to do with shiny. And hey, if you can change up the Pokemon in it, that's going to be cool. Theoretically, this has a lot of potential. And then, other than that, they announced they're doing a special Switch. A Switch Lite for Diamond and Pearl. Pokemon Special Edition Pokemon consoles are always the coolest console. The Diamond and Pearl DS Lite, awesome. The X and Y 3DS, awesome. The Sword and Shield Switch Lite, I thought was really cool. I think this Diamond and Pearl Special Switch Lite, it looks really cool. Because you can see in the stream, you can see the DS Lite in the background, and you compare it to the Switch Lite. Yeah, looks great. I think this is a great looking system. Of course, I'm buying a Switch. Buying a Switch LED, so it's not like, oh, I'm not gonna get it, obviously. But it's a cool looking system. I'll say that. And then, of course, the release date hasn't changed. It's still November 19th. Yeah, I didn't think this release date was going to change. Admittedly, I didn't think either of these release dates. I didn't think the other one was going to get delayed either, but we'll talk about that. But yeah, no, I did get some nostalgia for this game. I am definitely interested in whatever. I mean, it's Diamond and Pearl, man. I like Diamond and Pearl. I know a lot of people, a lot of Gen 1ers, like people who, you know, started at the first generation, get out of Pokemon during Gen 3, and they never really play Gen 4 or 5. They love to bitch about them and complain about them, or at least they used to, until, you know, some people actually sat down and played Gen 4 and 5 and realized that, no, they're actually really good. Because, you know, Pokemon's eternally cursed. One day people will appreciate in some ways people have come around to Gen 6, but I don't think people will ever love Gen 6. But one day people will love Gen 7. One day people will probably really enjoy Gen 8. Gen 8 probably has has more flaws than Gen 6, but I enjoy it. And Gen 7 is like genuinely fantastic. Gen 7 does not get nearly enough credit for all the credit it gives us, for just how good it is, how many just quality of life changes it makes. I saw somebody complaining, when we get to Arceus in a second, I saw somebody complaining about the battle system in Pokemon and how, like, it hasn't changed in 20 years. Like, that alone tells you that somebody hasn't played Pokemon since Gen 1. That, like, because, you know, eventually they broke up special attack to special attack and special defense. That's a Gen 2 thing, plus they added in new types. Gen 3 adds in abilities. Gen 4 does the physical and special split, which is probably the biggest change in all of Pokemon combat. Gen 5 added in hidden abilities. Oh, Gen 3 I think also adds items. And every new game adds new Pokemon, new moves, new abilities. They all do new shit. But yeah, I think Gen 5 added in hidden abilities. It also did some other things. Gen 6 added in fairy type and megas. Gen 7 adds in Z moves. And Gen 6 is also where competitive Pokemon starts getting easier. And it gets easier every generation. It is so easy to make competitive Pokemon in Gen 8. You can do it in your sleep. I've done it in my sleep. It's that fucking easy. And I love doing it. I love making competitive Pokemon more than I do shiny. Because admittedly, when I make competitive Pokemon in Gen 8, I get results. Whereas with shiny, I'm, 1,000 in, 2,000 in, and I've gotten nothing. Which, I mean, admittedly is not that bad, but it's annoying. Oh, fuck, that could have been terrible. But yeah, no, so I'm excited for this. Of course I'm going to be picking it up. I always knew I'm a slave to the Pokemon. Even though I'm bitching about Pokemon Unite and all these other bullshit games, because they are bullshit, and they are gambling marketed towards children, I'm still a slave to the Pokemon brand at the end of the day. Like, that hasn't changed. So let's talk about Legends Arceus, shall we? So the interesting thing is, even though this game takes place in like prehistoric Sinnoh, they don't call it Sinnoh. Instead, they call it the Hisui region, which is that's weird. I wonder why they changed the name. Like, I wonder, like, again, it makes me think of like a Gaijin Goomba, or even though I saw someone make the joke, like, you could make, like, you know how there's the, like, Twitter accounts that are, like, poorly aged tweets, or, right, shit like that? You can make an entire Twitter account that's just, like, poorly aged Pokemon theories, which is basically the entire of, like, Loxton and Noggin's channel. Even though, again, I think they make some interesting stuff. I haven't watched them in years, but I remember some interesting stuff being taken on. But yeah, like, the Hisui region, like, that name is something that I need, like, someone like them or a Gaijin Goomba to explain. Because I don't get it. I don't know. Part of me is like, you know, if you're going to call it something different, why not just make a new region? Okay, give me a second. I'm going to focus. Did I get it? Oh, fuck. He doesn't even look close. I know I picked the wrong direction because I wasn't looking up. He didn't even... God, that's the second time I've been right there and I fucked it up. I cannot do that one. I just cannot do that one. But yeah, I should have been looking up to see where the crown was. I just picked a side and hoped. I think we'll get 5 crowns, though, for leveling up here. Yeah. And hey, we're up to level 17. Neat. Is that Beanbot? God. But yeah, so yeah, Hisui region, that's a weird name. And also, so I guess I should say, graphically, I do also think this one looks better as well. I saw, was it Egoraptor compared this to like a PS3 game? Like, fuck, man. Just, you know, again, Wind Waker but also, and it's the exact same fucking thing. It's the exact same shit, but also just graphics don't fucking matter. Breath of the Wild is one of the best games of all time. It's not visually that amazing. Look back at Ocarina of Time. It looks like fucking garbage, but it's one of the best games of all time. That hasn't changed. I mean, the 3DS remake actually looks fine. For like 3DS, it actually looks pretty decent. But like visually, that game's not that impressive. But it's one of the best of all time. And fuck, I'm so tired of these arguments. Again, a cunty fan base that are gluttons that would not be satisfied with all the riches of heaven. God damn, they're like turfs. They have one fucking joke, one fucking saying that they repeat ad nauseum, no matter how much it gets defunct. They just won't shut the fuck up. Yeah, is this me being defensive? I don't know. I guess I'm just fucking tired of it. Right? I'm just tired of it all. God, because Pokemon fans are so cunty. God. But so back to the game. We find out this is the Galaxy Expedition team. Like, they've come to the region and they're exploring it. You're creating the first ever Sinnoh Pokedex, which someone had the idea of like, hey, what if for the Pokedex you start off with like by drawing the Pokemon, and like it's like in-game drawings, right? Like you don't actually have to like learn to draw the Pokemon, but like the game will like do your, even though that would be a neat feature that some people would use, but like there are like in-game drawings. Like, wouldn't that be neat for like your first Pokedex? And no, it's just pictures here, but I think that would have been a neat feature. And maybe as like the more you learn, it like starts off as like an outline, and then you get some coloring and some inking, and eventually you get color and shading, right? Like the drawings get better the more you learn about the Pokemon. But no, it just seems to be like a picture, which is kind of disappointing. But yeah, you're on the Galaxy Expedition team and you're exploring the Hisui region, and you see some of the characters, which I think are neat. There's a Professor Laventon, who I don't get that. That's a reference I don't get. Because, like, all the other people in the Galaxy Expedition team seem to be references to, like, other Pokemon games. Or seem to be references to Diamond and Pearl. But the Professor, I don't get that reference. Like, Laventon, I don't know who he's supposed to be. That's me probably just missing the reference, because the other two I will. The captain of the expedition team, Silene, is clearly like the old, like the original Cyrus, which I can see the obvious plot twist being that, hey, guess what, Silene is evil. I really hope they don't go that way. I really hope it's like, nope, guess what, Silene is actually good, and they're actually like rooting for you and they're trying to help you out. That Silene's actually good. I hope they don't actually, like, twist surprise villain it. I think that would just be really fucking boring. Because, again, we have Cyrus, and, yeah. And I know they're supposed to be related. And, you know, and I think what it's going for more is that it's like the Nazi thing, where, you know, the Nazi takes symbols of love and then turn them into symbols of hate. I think it's doing something like that. Oh, and guess what? We just Godwined ourselves. Right? I think that's what they're trying to imply, that Cyrus took Galaxy Expedition Team and twisted it and made it evil, which, yeah, I think that's much more interesting than just having I think her name's Silene, just having her be the villain, because it's like, right, like you look at like Lysander Roth, and it's like, or Lysander Roth, the Pro ZD character, who's making fun of Lysander from Pokemon. From Gen 6, and he's like, oh, he's obviously the villain. Or then there's Lucamine, and like every description of Lucamine is how she's like the nicest, most bestest person, and it's like, oh, she's obviously the twist villain. Chairman Rose, same thing. Oh, he's the nicest, most bestest person. Oh, he's obviously the twist villain. Even though Chairman Rose is a little bit more complicated than they give him credit for. I don't actually think Chairman Rose is the villain of Gen 6. I mean, yeah, he fucks up and he does some evil things, but I don't actually think he's a bad guy. I think Gen 6 is a little bit more complicated than that. or Gen 8, I mean. It's still poorly written. Like, the story in Gen 6 is written like fucking hot garbage. Or Gen 8. Gen 6 kind of as well. But the story in Gen 8 is fucking written like hot garbage. But, like, I can tell what they were trying to do. That, Chairman Rose isn't the villain. Like, he's not... His methods are bad, but his reasons aren't. And he didn't want to be the villain, basically. And he kind of isn't. It's complicated and the game's written poorly, so it doesn't really come across. And then there's also the head of the Galaxy Expedition team, who is clearly an did I say descendant? The opposite of descendant is ancestor. He's clearly an ancestor of Professor Rowan. That's clearly what they're going with. There's crafting in this game. They brought back, which I know there was crafting in Sword and I think the Isle of Armor had crafting. There's crafting here, and you can craft Pokeballs and whatnot, which I think is, again, this game is taking a lot of influence from Breath of the Wild. And you know what? I saw somebody complain about that, and it's like, again, Pokemon fans don't know what they want. That's another thing they have in common with Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans don't know what they want from a Star Wars movie. Pokemon fans don't know what they want from a Pokemon game. They think they know what they want, but they actually don't. And that's consumers in general. It goes back to the perfect pasta sauce. Consumers will tell you what they want, but then if you actually like test them, they have no fucking idea what they want. It's the same thing with like Star Wars and Pokemon fans. They will say what they want, and well, yeah, Pokemon MMORPG would be cool. That's yeah. And yeah, there is a moment in this trailer though, where the player jumps off a cliff, and they're flown away by the Hisuian Braviary, and it's like, oh god, it's Breath of the Wild, but it's still so fucking cool. Paragliding in Breath of the Wild is so fucking cool. And it's so cool here. Sucks in Fortnite, but that's because Fortnite bad. Again, I actually don't have a problem with Fortnite in theory. I think people just hate Fortnite because it's popular and kids play it. Same thing happened with Minecraft. So, there's a whole thing in this game about how Pokemon will attack you. Right? That you can actually be beaten up by a Pokemon and you'll black out. That's cool. It's a small thing, but I think that's pretty cool. And like the player gets attacked by like a Beware at one point, and Ursaring. Is it Ursaring? Not Beware. I think it's Ursaring. The first generation, no, second generation bear Pokemon. And I think that's actually like a pretty cool moment and like a great like that's cool. And I'm glad I think the idea of just being able to being attacked by Pokemon. That's kind of cool. And it's like, it's something you like expect to see in the Pokemon universe, because people always make jokes about how deadly Pokemon are. I think one of the Vsauce channels has an entire series about like how easy it is for Pokemon to just like instantly murder you. And yeah, that kind of, and like they're kind of like addressing it in this game, and that's kind of cool. So turn-based combat is back in this game. I was one of the people who was rooting for real-time combat. Now, the reason I was rooting for real-time combat is because I still have a dream that one day Monolith Soft will make a Pokemon game. And they'll fucking kill it, and it'll use real-time combat or whatever. And you know what? That's my dream. That's my dream. But so seeing this, my hope was that like, hey, maybe they'll use like a real-time combat and it'll be just a little closer to the dream game I want. That and Legends Arceus just feels so much different than every other Pokemon game. I feel like using a different combat style would be pretty nice. But there are some differences here. I've seen it compared to Final Fantasy like 10, where there's turn-based combat, but there are some new elements. Like, there's an order. Like, combat, it doesn't go you, opponent, or, whoever's faster. That it doesn't just go back and forth. No, instead, you can go, like, 2 moves in a row. So, like, at one point in the trailer, you see a Lucario, and he uses Calm Mind to, like, boost his stats, and then he goes again and uses, and then attacks with, like, close combat or whatever. And it's like, no, so there's like different styles. So like if you want to hit hard, use strength style. If you want to go fast, use agile style. And you can use them for moves like Combine. So it adds in like this brand new level of strategy to things. And I personally think that's really neat. I think this is a really neat mechanic, right? Adding in all these new styles and everything. That's kind of cool. It's a minor change, but it's a non-insignificant one. Is how I'll put it. Right? I think it'll change the game up enough. Would a would a real-time combat change the game up even more? Definitely. But you know what? For the moment, I'll take this. I'm totally down with experimenting, because I think this takes us back to like one of the big things. This game is baby steps, right? I know people want that Pokemon MMORPG. And you know what? I said earlier that in 10 years we'll have a Pokemon game with microtransactions. Within 10 years, we will have a Pokemon game with that is an MMORPG. That MMO World of Warcraft Pokemon game people have always wanted. Within the next 10 years, that's going to happen. We can already see the Pokemon Company making steps towards that Pokemon MMORPG. Wait. We didn't qualify from that. No, it said we qualified, but we had like 140. What the fuck? There's no way. But yeah, I think within the next 10 years we will see that Pokemon MMORPG. It'll probably have microtransactions, but we will see it. Yeah, because this is baby steps towards that. And I know people don't like baby steps, but guess what? Every series does them. Zelda. I know we love Breath of the Wild, but there are tons of baby steps over the span of a decade that lead to Breath of the Wild. Things like the parasail in Skyward Sword. That's a baby step that leads towards Breath of the Wild. Link Between Worlds, one of the best Zelda games. Oh wow, we're still in it. That does not get its credit. Link Between Worlds does not get enough credit for being as good as it is. That game played around with an open world Zelda game years before Breath of the Wild did. Yeah, Breath of the Wild only came after a bunch of baby steps. And people don't really talk about it like that, but it's true. That's how it went. And yeah, admittedly, it feels like Pokemon is taking more baby steps. Like, it definitely feels like, oh, we're, like, I think part of it also is that Pokemon is the highest grossing multimedia franchise of all time. But, like, it doesn't feel like it is. Like, I think that's the other problem, is Pokemon really doesn't feel like the highest grossing multimedia franchise of all time, which it should. But it doesn't. So I think that's also part of it. But yeah, no, this is more baby steps than people want. But it will, whether that's Gen 9 or Gen 10 or whatever, we are slowly working our way towards that Pokemon MMORPG. Plus, if you want that, just go play like Temtem or whatever. I think that's on PS5, and I think it's supposed to be coming to Switch later this year. That probably got delayed, because I know it got delayed because it was supposed to come out in spring of this year, and it might even have been delayed until next year, but that's gonna happen, and I will play that Temtem. I'll try it out at least. But yeah. So while Pokemon loves to get rid of, like, they introduce, hey, here's Mega Evolution. Amazing idea. Competitively poor execution, but I always thought it was really cool. I love how Mega Evolutions work. And then they got rid of those, kind of. I mean, they were technically in Gen 7. But then they introduced Z moves, which I feel like were balanced a little bit better, but people don't like Z moves. I think they're fine. And then they got Gigantamax, which just wasn't as cool. Gigantamax just wasn't as cool as the other forms. Yeah, I know I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one to have said that, but yeah. Gigantamax just ain't as cool. which sucks, because in theory it could be. Gosh dang it. I always feel like there should be multiple ways to go, and yet there never are. Oh my god, somebody already made it. But yeah, so they try all these features, Gigantamax, but the one great feature that they know not to get rid of is the variant forms, right? Gen 6 or Gen 7 had the Alolan forms, fantastic. They were all Gen 1, which was stupid, but hey, Gen 8 had brought the Galarian forms, and they were better. The Galarian forms, right, they added in some more variety. Still a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon, but there were some, I think there were some Gen 5 Pokemon in there. There were some Gen 2, I think. And now here that we're getting, because it's not called like Sinnohian forms or whatever. They're called Hisuian forms, and it's Growlithe, which I know their end goal for Growlithe is like clearly going to be one of those like shrine dogs, those like Japanese, Chinese shrine dogs, and it's going to look so fucking cool. That Growlithe is the Arcanine, because the Growlithe looks cute. The Arcanine is going to be amazing. I can already see that coming. Don't know if I'll use it, obviously, because I don't know. Like I didn't really even I did use Runargus in Gen 8, and I think I used Vulpix or Alolan Vulpix, and I want to say I actually used Alolan Vulpix in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, because I thought that was cool. But yeah, the new, so that's one. The Growlithe, we didn't see the Arcanine, but I guarantee you it's going to look cool. Like, I can already picture it in my head. I've even seen some fan art that kind of looks like what I'm picturing. That's probably why I can picture it, because I've seen some fan art that's like that's running with a similar idea. There's Braviary. Braviary is just a really, I think that's one of the American Pokemon designs, who now, the guy who designed Braviary and Golurk and a few others, the American, is I think now in charge of designing all Pokemon. I think that happened at some point. I think that was what changed in Gen 8. Which, I mean, for better or worse. Because, again, I like Brave. I think he might have done Mandibuzz. But, yeah. He does some, I don't know. Again, I kind of have mixed feelings on Gen 8 Pokemon. But yeah, got Braviary. It's a psychic type. That's really cool. I like the Hisuian Braviary. That's pretty cool. Oh, Gen 2, Stantler, the one that got revealed first. Stantler is one of those Pokemon that always kind of needed an evolution. You know, kind of like Farfetch'd, because it's not good. One day Dunsparce will get its due. It could be this time. But yeah, I think the Weirdeer, the Hisuian Stantler evolution, pretty cool. The part where the trainer is riding it around, again, another scene right out of Breath of the Wild, with you riding the deers in Breath of the Wild. It's like 1 for 1. And then, so that one's fine. The cool one, though, so Galarian Stunfisk is a great design for such a shitty Pokemon. I think Galarian Stunfisk, the Bear Trap, fucking great idea. Great design. The actual Pokemon fucking sucks. Like, the Galarian Stunfisk is just, it's terrible. This, I hope, is better, because Basculin is another one of those Pokemon that really is a Gen 5 forgotten thing that, like, nobody gives a shit about. But again, Gen 5 is a love letter to Gen 1, so of course it's forgotten. But yeah, it's like a Lola Momola. It's just one of those forgotten things. Love Disc. And yeah, seeing Basculin get an evolution in Basculegion, fantastic. I love how dark the lore is, that it's like, because, you know, it's based on the mythical Legion, which I think Legion is also the inspiration for the rock Pokemon I mentioned earlier. It's okay, it's not rock type, it's dark Ghost. It's called... Why am I forgetting its name? The one where you have to go into the underground to get, Fuck. I'm forgetting... Spirit Tomb. I think Spirit Tomb, if I remember correctly, is also based on the Legion, which is a Bible thing. And yeah, no, Bascule Legion, and I think that's a great design, right? Like it being the ghost type with the wispy tail and everything, and it's being massive compared to like the little Basculin. Great design. Those are the ones we've seen so far, and I think they're all pretty good. I don't think I've ever been disappointed by any of the variant forms. But yeah, no, they continue to just fucking kill it, and yeah, I hopefully we'll get some more, because they're always just really cool to check out. I loved someone was like, hey, what if the starters had like a special like final evolution? I would love to actually see some variant starters. That would be cool. Just like in general, that would have been a neat idea. But yeah, that would be cool. I don't know. It's weird that like these forms exist, and like they existed back in the day, but they don't exist anymore. That's kind of interesting. And since Pokemon is in the modern age now, they can theoretically update Sword and Shield, so that way, because they did confirm later on that Pokemon Home support is coming to Brilliant Diamond, and when they talked about competitive, they confirmed that, hey, home support is coming to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and it's coming to Legends Arceus. So theoretically, they could update Sword and Shield and make it so that you could take like this Bascule Legion and transfer it over to Sword and Shield. There's no reason they can't do that. Because, it's the modern day. Anything's possible. Will they? I kind of doubt it. But hey, they could. Let's see what else. The release date, January 28th, 2022. Still end of January. A lot of people seemingly were expecting a delay. I was not one of them. And the reason I'm not one of them is because I think the game had already been delayed. I bet this game was originally supposed to come out in November. Maybe even earlier than that. We have a year of COVID. But I bet you this game was supposed to come out in November, and it got delayed until January. And I know, that's kind of obvious, so I know I'm not the only one to, say that. But yeah, no, that's totally what happened. It was supposed to come out in November, and I bet the Diamond and Pearl remakes were supposed to come out even earlier. I bet those were originally, May releases, and they got pushed back to November because of COVID. Yeah. Again, Pokemon Company and Nintendo are kind of different beasts. We know the Pokemon Company was hit harder, or we know Nintendo was hit harder by COVID than any other video game company, and it clearly shows. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't expect it. If a delay happens, that's fine. Again, I think the games look fine, and of course they're going to be a little more polished. I think they even say in the trailer at one point, in the bottom text, in the fine print, that hey, guess what? These aren't finished builds, and they're going to get better. Which I know more and more games are doing. Look at Halo Infinite, which again is another game people are very angry at, and on some hand I kind of see it, but on the other hand, as long as the game's fun, I don't give a shit. And yeah, and that's and like I said, Pokemon Home compatibility, it'll happen. Yeah, sure, it'd be cool if they updated it. And yeah, that's Legends Arceus. I'm not bad. I'm looking forward to it. Admittedly, I'm way more excited for Legends Arceus than I am Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. I give way more of a shit about this because this looks way more interesting. And what I'm here, one of the something that Gen 8 does not get enough credit for is that yes, it had a smaller Pokédex. Yes, people are fucking pissed about it. But to be fair, Gen 8 was the first time Gotta Catch 'Em All felt possible since Gen 3. I have not felt like Gen 4 onwards, Gotta Catch 'Em All just didn't feel possible. It was just something I didn't know anybody who did it. Right, besides for people like Joe Maverick or other big Pokemon YouTuber people. But I think looking at this, it's like, no, I could totally do Gotta Catch 'em All in this game. And yeah, because your goal is to complete the Pokedex, it puts Gotta Catch 'em All at the forefront of the game. Like, that's your main goal for everything. No, I think what they're doing here with Gotta Catch 'em All, like, this totally feels like a game where you can realistically catch all the Pokemon. So yeah, I'm totally on board for whatever this is doing. Okay, let's... There we go. That's how you get the top one. You jump on the frog. But yeah, no, I'm way more excited for this. It comes out it's a while away. It is a ways away. But when it comes, I'm down. God, I'm tired. We still have at least another half hour because we haven't even gotten to it. But yeah, no, I thought the Pokemon Presents was good. I think the Legends Arceus looks good. I definitely see they definitely showed off some of the newer features, right? You know how like Skyward Sword waited until like June like 30th to like show off the new features coming for Skyward Sword HD. Yeah, no, Pokemon, I mean, I know we're like less than 99 days away, but this trailer was like, oh yeah, here's the things, we're staying faithful here, but hey, guess what, we're adding new stuff as well, which there is new stuff, don't let anyone tell you wrong. And again, these are also remakes that are like fully graphical remakes that, and people just don't give them enough credit. This isn't like fucking Twilight Princess or even Skyward Sword HD, where they're just like making the graphics look a little better. No, these are like full graphical overhauls that are kind of new games. At least that's what they look like. I don't fucking know anymore. Let's talk about Skyrim. So Skyrim Anniversary Edition was announced. I like me some Skyrim. Never beat it. Never even gotten fucking close. Like me some Skyrim. Haven't played... I only bought Skyrim once. I'm not one of those people who have bought it 1,000 times. I have only bought it once. I didn't even buy it on Switch. I was going to, but then I didn't. Yeah, it just... my problem with this temple one is that it feels like there's only one way. And, like, I feel like there should be at least 2 paths that take you to the end. But there aren't. Yeah, like, look at it. He's there. Yeah, no, there's only one path. I feel like there should be at least 2. Like, at that split at the beginning, both paths should be open, and there should be 2 ways to get to the end. That's just me anyways. So yeah, Skyrim has now, with this newest Anniversary Edition, has now broken the record. I think they've broken... okay, maybe not counting Tetris. So maybe they haven't broken the record, but... other than Tetris, they are one behind Tetris for like most re-releases of a game, which I think they are now at 14 re-releases of Skyrim, which the only one below that, or the one below that is Resident Evil 4, which I think is at 13 re-releases. But yeah, Skyrim Anniversary Edition, it's been 10 years, it's coming out on the 10-year anniversary, whereas, you know, I think, Starfield comes out on the 11th year anniversary, which is funny. But yeah, so, Skyrim 10-year anniversary edition, I'm pretty sure there's some more graphical improvements, you know, like the, you know, because you know how there was like an HD, because Skyrim originally came out on the Xbox 360 and the PS3, and then there was an updated edition, like, around, like, 2017 when it came to Switch, that, like, updated the graphics even more and everything, and now this Anniversary Edition is presumably upgrading the graphics even more. They're adding in some new, like, features that have been, like, tested in the Creation Club, some presumably fan stuff, but I doubt it. Fishing is the big one that I've seen so far. I'm honestly kind of surprised fishing wasn't in Skyrim. But yeah, now the one thing that does confuse me about this is whether this is just given to you or if you have to pay money for this. I don't know, Because at first it seemed like, because I think Skyrim Special Edition, which was the improved graphics and everything, was, I think, a free upgrade. I think if you already own Skyrim, you got the upgrade for free. I could be wrong about that, but I think it was. And I thought that's what it was with this as well. That's what it looked like. Like, hey, if you own Skyrim Special Edition, you get this one for free. But I did see a tweet that was like, no, you actually do have to pay money for this upgrade. Because, of course, this is the version coming to next generation consoles, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Besides for, the backwards compatibility version that already exists. Because, the graphical improvements are for the Xbox Series X. Because, yeah, we'll talk about this a little bit later with Free Guy, but we are past the point of sequels to games, and now it's just you re-release the same game over and over again. Which, yeah, because, famously Todd Howard said that the thing with Skyrim, that is why things like Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76 exist, is because when people bought Skyrim, it was a one-time purchase. They had the full game, and once Todd Howard made that $60, that's it. That's all the money he made off of Skyrim per person. Again, assuming you only bought Skyrim once, right? Because every new purchase is $60. But that's why that's why Skyrim will forever be re-released. Because for every re-release, he's making another $60. He can't put they did put microtransactions in Skyrim with the Creation Club. They did the same thing for fucking Minecraft. But yeah, no, the Creation Club is microtransactions, to try to bridge that gap, because all companies are fucking garbage nowadays. But yeah, no, that's exactly what this is. This is just like, hey, guess what? We're putting, you get that one-time payment for Skyrim, but if you buy it again, that's another one-time payment. That same thing with GTA 5. Even though GTA 5 does have full online microtransactions, and that's some of the scummiest shit I've ever seen. Like, GTA 5 does not get called out enough for how scummy it is. But yeah, that's why Skyrim gets released so much. Is because Todd Howard, right, you only got that one-time purchase, but now he wants that infinite time purchase. Ooh, I've never seen this before. I've never seen this layout. That's cool. Anti-graph? That's cool. But yeah, so that's Skyrim Anniversary Edition. There are... So, Gamescom opening night, Gamescom Live, the end of Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest is quickly approaching, and it looks like we already know, like, the new Lego Star Wars game is going to be at opening night live for Gamescom, and it looks like there are rumors of a new Saints Row game coming to Gamescom, which, in theory, I'm down for. I didn't like Saints Row 3. I've never played the first two, even though I hear nothing but great things about Saints Row 2. But I played Saints Row 3, didn't really care for it. Didn't think it's actually that. I don't actually think Saints Row 3 is that good. But Saints Row 4 was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with, like, the superpower bullshit in Saints Row 4. Yep, good time. Good times all around. Gat Out of Hell wasn't bad. Yeah, even though Saints Row 4 just reused the map from Saints Row 3, and I think Gat Out of Hell reused the map as well. I don't remember. It's been a while. But yeah, no, a Saints Row is, it's always kind of been like the GTA. It's been like the GTA 5 clone ripoff thing that is also pretty good. Kind of like the other game that people would love a remake of, Simpsons Hit and Run. I want a remake of Simpsons Hit and Run. Out of all, like, the GTA 5 clones, it's so good. Simpsons Hit and Run. If you can, I think it might be on Steam or one of those, but I know it's on, like, PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. Go play Simpsons Hit and Run. It's so fucking good. For, like, GTA 5 clones, it's so fucking fun. I'd love to stream that game. Beat the mission I never could beat as a kid. There were actually 2 of them, now that I think about it. But yeah, a new Saints Row, that'd be cool. I know Saints Row 3, they don't really re-release Saints Row 4, they don't release Gat Out of Hell, but they have released, because I think Saints Row 3 is the best-selling game in the series, they have released Saints Row 3, probably 8 times. And again, I don't think it's actually that good. Saints Row 3 kind of sucked, in my personal opinion. I mean, it wasn't, terrible. It's not fucking GTA 4. Also a game that has aged terribly. GTA 4 is fucking unplayable. Okay, maybe not that bad, but it's pretty bad. But yeah, you know, a Saints Row reboot. There again, Saints Row. I like Saints Row 4, and while I know this Saints Row reboot would probably be closer to 2 and 3, I don't know. Again, people like 2. Even if they just remade 2, I'd be fine with that. Just don't remake 3 for fuck's sake. Admittedly, I think that already happened, but kind of anyways. But yeah, no, yeah, I'd be fine for a Saints Row 2 remake. Not the first. I don't hear many people talk about the first one. I'm assuming it's probably fine, but I know people love the second one. Why am I not making that jump? But yeah, that's Gamescom opening that live. That's right around the corner. That new Star Wars because the original Lego Star Wars and Lego Star Wars 2 and Lego Star Wars 3, the complete trilogy or complete series, so fucking good. Loved those games on PS2, and I think they were on Wii. I know they were also on DS. I remember having them on DS. Those games were also fucking great, and I know the new one's not going to be as good. Not just because the Star Wars movies are bad, but just because they're not going to recapture the magic. Because, you know, isn't it crazy how the things we love the most came out when we were the most impressionable? Oh, God, that's Simpsons Hit and Run, isn't it? Simpsons Hit and Run came out when I was the most impressionable, and it probably doesn't actually hold up nowadays, does it? I actually have heard it does hold up. I have heard that actually, no, it's pretty decent, all things considered. I don't know, I haven't thought about it in a long time. I haven't played it in a long time. I don't know, when was the last time I had the PS2 set up? Been a few years. And yeah, I guess that takes us to WIBE. We got a lot of stuff to talk about in WIBE today. Let's start off with some video game stuff. I did play the Mario Golf update. They added Toadette, the new map, and ranked mode to Mario Golf. I sat down, I played the new map. New map, like, if you're ever going to get a hole-in-one, new map is great for getting that hole-in-one. Holy shit, I could easily see someone play 18, hit 18 on that map. And yeah, it feels, so like in some aspect it feels kind of small, but on the other hand, I don't know, it's kind of fun. It's a very simple map, but I liked it fine enough. You know, only 5 people getting eliminated is interesting. But yeah, no, the new Mario Golf map is fine. I didn't play Toadette. I still only play Rosalina. But yeah, no, the new Mario Golf map, yeah, fine. I enjoyed it. I did play a little bit of ranked mode until at some point I was doing a level. I was doing like a set of, because ranked mode's weird because there's like no way to go down in points. So like you can only go up. And you play with like other people online, but you play in like groups of 3, or you play like 3 holes at a time. So it's not like, oh, you're gonna do the full back 9 or the full front 9 or whatever, or the full 18 hole, and your score is based on that. Nope, you do 3 holes at a time, and you only do 3 holes at a time. And I think there's a difference between normal golf and speed golf. I did some of that. I did a few rounds of that. It was going fine, and then at one point, the guy like disconnected or got dropped, like one of the guys I was playing against, and the entire game just froze. Like the game crashed. It didn't know what to do when one of the players disconnected, and it just broke. Like it had no, so I had to, and I couldn't, like I could pause the game, but I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't mess around with the menus or anything. So I just gave up and closed out the game, and I haven't touched it since. I tried. I tried to play Mario Golf, because again, I think it's a fine game. It's nothing amazing, but I enjoyed Mario Golf for what it was, you know. But I tried, and hey, it didn't work. I mean, it worked fine for a little bit. But yeah, again, it's not an unfinished game. It's just kind of an underwhelming game. I'll say the same thing I did at the time. Nope. Even if we did, we weren't gonna make it. But yeah, that was Mario Golf. WarioWare, the new WarioWare Get It Together, got a new demo yesterday, and right before the stream, I sat down and I played it. I played it for like an hour-ish. And it's fine. I'd seen a lot of mixed reactions on Twitter. Some people liked it. Some people found it really boring. Because, you know, it's doing this, like, new thing where, like, you control the characters. Kind of pseudo-platformer-ish. You know, I wish they would make a new Wario Land game. Or even just, like, put out a collection of some of the old ones. Again, we really need Game Boy and Game Boy Advance Virtual Console. Because I would love... Because I've never actually played a Wario Land game. But I hear good things about them, so I'd like to try one at one point. At some point, at least. But yeah, playing that new... I am not that big of a fan of WarioWare. I had DIY on DS. And I think I had the Wii one. Yeah, I had the... Was it called Twist It? It was something like that. There was a Shake It on Wii, which was, I think, a Wario Land game. But there was a WarioWare game on Wii that I think I traded into GameStop at some point. And that game was fine. It never really hit me until playing the demo. And it's like, oh yeah, you know, like, so you look at like a Jackbox Party Pack, and it's like, oh well, it's doing like a Mario Party style thing, but it's cutting the corners. This new Wario Land, like, at least the way they're described, like, not the actual like playing it, but like looking at like the game trying to like promote you to like buy it, like with their like in-game promos for the demo. It really does remind me of like a Jackbox style thing. Like, there seems to be a mode that like just feel like, I know it doesn't have like the phone stuff, which is, you know, what Jackbox is known for, but like there are certain modes where it's like, yeah, you know, I could kind of see something like this in a Jackbox Party Pack game, which I know Jackbox did in, I think, whatever the most recent Jackbox Party Pack is, take their stab at doing like a mini game. Like, I don't remember what it was called. Something to do with demons. But it was like mini game based. And yeah, it seems like Wario Land is doing something like that here, which, again, that's just from like the in-game promos and whatnot. But actually, like, playing, I think the demo only has like 20 mini games, 20 or 30, and they hint at like the full game will have like over 200. There were some Nintendo ones, like there was a Splatoon one that I thought was kind of cute. Like, I was like, yeah, that's not a terrible idea. They're all simple little like micro games, but yeah. Of course, I did hear great things about that WarioWare game on 3DS. I think it was called WarioWare Gold. I heard great things about that one. Never played it, obviously, because by that point I had fully given up on the 3DS. But yeah, the WarioWare, the demo was fine. Nothing, I don't know, I'd heard people call it boring, and yeah, I thought it was fun enough. Because you go around, you unlock a few of the new characters. I hate is it 16-bit? 16-bit. He like shoots lasers out of his eye. That was kind of annoying. Also, with the Jackbox Party Pack comparison, I mean, there was that WarioWare game on Wii U. I don't remember what it was called. Wario something. It was WarioWare, not Smooth Moves. Was the Wii one called Smooth Moves? I don't know, where you like, in there were some fun games in that, like where you shot the little dudes at the island and tried not to topple it over. There was a mode that's eerily reminiscent of the game Spy Party. And yeah, I thought the WarioWare game on Wii was nothing that special, but definitely, it definitely had its fun. Definitely better than the Mario Party on Wii U, which was garbo. Nintendo Land was fine. Yeah. Yeah, I will not, I mean, maybe if it was like $40, I'd probably consider it. But especially once I have a Switch, which will happen in October. God, Metroid Dread's in October. It's so close. It's so close. Just a little over a month away. It's like a month and like a week. Month and 2 weeks. So close. But yeah, no, if it was like maybe like $10 cheaper, I might consider it. But like 50 isn't that much of a price cut, especially for Nintendo. Again, I'm convinced nobody, and that includes myself, knows what like $60 is worth anymore. But yeah, I don't know. It's just weird when they sell Donkey Kong Country for $50, and then they sell it on the Switch for $60. That's just weird. Yeah. Movie-wise, so it went off HBO Max on Sunday. I was going to talk about it on Saturday, because I watched it on Saturday, before we did in chat. But, Space Jam. The Space Jam movie. I watched it. It's with LeBron James. It's bad, but it's not like terribly bad. Like it got, I think, like 3 laughs out of me. Like at one point it's like, oh hey, I think Sylvester's like, hey, I found Michael Jordan. And it was like, oh, it's Michael B. Jordan. Like, the joke's obvious, but I was like, that's kind of... That's a very obvious but fun joke. I like that. I liked that. And there was a Rick and Morty cameo in it. Whatever. We talk about brand IP. I'm one of those people who, like... You know, I'm totally in favor of, like, crossovers. Right? I love me some Smash Bros. Ready Player One, the book is terrible, but I mean terrible in an enjoyable way, whereas Ready Player 2 was just terrible in a terrible way. But Ready Player One, the movie, has some good crossover in it. And then of course people get mad at Ready Player One for having the Iron Giant, because the whole point, the Iron Giant is an anti-war movie, so using the Iron Giant in Ready Player One as a weapon of war is like kind of goes against the movie. And then people got mad at the Iron Giant's appearance in this movie, but like all he does is watch a basketball game. He doesn't even participate. Like, come the fuck on, guys. You know, I think the Iron Giant watching a basketball game is pretty, that's much more in par with like the character, right? There's a point where they go into the DC universe and they meet Superman real quick, and Bugs plays Batman. That's cute. There's a Mad Max Fury Road part, which is fine. Like, cause, fucking Doug Walker did once compare Mad Max Fury Road to a Coyote and Roadrunner cartoon. So seeing the Coyote and Roadrunner show up in Mad Max, and this was back when Doug Walker wasn't like the worst. Like, I know like a lot of people hate him nowadays, and maybe it was always terrible, but it did some good along the way, so how bad could it truly be? But yeah, he did a video, like, and people like to market that video as like the start of his decline, I guess, or like, because that's what, like, one of his first videos that's like, hey, this is fully live action, like, we don't even show a clip of the movie, it's fully like live action, us recreating the movie. Which I know people see as like a problem, and I guess it is, sure. I also get why he did it though, because copyright's fucking terrible on YouTube. Also pretty bad here on Twitch. But yeah, so yeah, seeing that was interesting. There was a few, the Matrix one was kind of dumb. Like that was one that I thought was kind of dumb. Don Cheadle was having fun with it. I'll say that. Like, he did like one of those performances where like he knows what movie he's in, and he's just trying to have a good time with it. And yeah, sure, you know what, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't a, like, he's having fun with it. I'd take it rather than him just like being like, oh, hey, oh, woo, I'm the bad guy. Right? Like, it could have been a terrible performance, but no. It's fine. He's having fun. More or less. What is there anything else about Space Jam? Yeah, whatever. I don't know, I do in theory like at one point they're like, oh, we need to get the best team. And it's like, oh, we get Superman, we get Neo, we get fucking whatever. And it's like the idea of like a basketball movie that uses all these like famous like properties. I'm kind of down. Again, I'm down for crossover. I'm down for like Superman and the Iron Giant in a basketball movie. That sounds kind of fun, I'm down for fucking... Again, I really want a Mario Kart game that's Super Smash Kart. Make it happen, Nintendo. Come on, make that Mario Kart 9. God damn it, I keep getting tripped right there, and it keeps pushing me off. And eventually I'm going to run out of time, and the slime's going to catch up. There it is. This is the last try. But yeah, Space Jam was whatever. Fuck! Oh god, I'm so tired. And then, so I went to the theaters, and I saw Free Guy. Again, every movie is bombing at the box office at the moment. And the theater I saw it in, like, I didn't see it opening day, but it was, I think there were 10 people in it. I was pissed off. There was like a teenage couple behind me. It was clearly like some guy taking his girlfriend on a date or vice versa or whatever. And the guy would not shut the fuck up. The theater has a no talking policy. So I was like, I got up, I reported them, and they shut up for like 20 minutes. Because they talked through the first like 15 minutes of the movie. I thought I quit. Yeah. Oh, god damn it. They talked through the first like 20 minutes. I got up, I reported them. They didn't talk for like 20 more minutes. And then the guy talked for like another like 5 minutes, and then he shut up through the rest of it. But I was like, if you want to, like, come on. I know you're a dumb teenager. He's probably like a sophomore. I don't know if I'd say he's a freshman, but he might be. I mean, I can't tell kids' ages apart these days. But like, it was like, come on, buddy. You take your girl to the movie, and then you go get dinner afterwards, and then you talk about the movie at dinner, so that way you have something to talk about. Like, come on. This is 101 here, kid. Like, fuck. I was just annoyed. Like, this is the one bit of free time I have. And, God, this kid just fucking wouldn't shut the fuck up. But the movie itself, I was not expecting much from Free Guy. We have been getting trailers for Free Guy for like 2 years now. I'm so fucking tired of trailers for this fucking movie. And I'm glad I'll never have to see another one. But yeah, there was a trailer where it was like the YouTuber trailer. And that's the moment where it's like, oh, this movie's fucked. It wasn't. The movie's actually good. Like, I'm not going to say it's great or amazing or anything. I might even just say it's fine. But Free Guy, I enjoyed it. It was kind of cute. Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds, right? He's a good actor. The other cast, I mean, Taika Waititi's in it, and he's an asshole, or he plays an asshole, and he does a good job at it. The main guy and the main girl, other than Ryan Reynolds, right? Like, because he's in the video game, but there have to be human characters, and the two human characters, they're decent, they're kind of cute, and like, you see where it's going. Because the thing is all about like indie games versus like AAA studios, and the movie like sides with AAA studios, and it, like I know they're not making an official statement, but it's kind of like, no, indie games are good, AAA studios fucking suck, and I'm down for that, especially because Taika Waititi. So this shows how kind of dated it is. Not that it's dated, but like. This shows you, like, what they think is bad in the game industry. That, like, because Taika Waititi's, like, the big thing is that the game is called Free City, but Taika Waititi is, like, putting out Free City 2. And when he puts out Free City 2, he's gonna shut down Free City 1. Oh, spoiler alert. Not like it really fucking matters. But yeah, that's, like, the big worry that barely comes into play in the movie. But, well, again, complicated. But yeah, so, like, because Taika Waititi is like, oh no, I want to make all the money I can off of this game, so instead I'm just going to make sequels, right? We're going to make Free City 2, we're going to make Free City 3, because Free City in this universe is basically Fortnite. I mean, Free City itself is based on GTA, but, like, it has the cultural impact of, like, Fortnite or whatever, and, yeah. But yeah, the main villain strategy is to put out Free City 2 because he wants to make all that sequel money. Which, yeah, that's used to be how things work, right? Call of Duty and Modern War Battlefield used to put out a new game every year. And that's where they would be, like, as greedy companies, that's where they'd make all their money. And yes, Call of Duty does still put out a game every year. FIFA, NBA 2K, they put out a new game every year. Madden, it's a lot of sports games. But you know what? But that's not how it works anymore. Nowadays, if games want to make all the money in the world, they put out one game, they stuff that game with microtransactions, and they put loot boxes in it, and they just keep updating that one game. They don't make sequels or anything. They want an ecosystem. They want a roadmap that players will play in indefinitely. Look at our Fall Guys here. Look at what happened with Among Us. Among Us was a game, they were working on a sequel. Not that they were like money grubbing, but they were working on a sequel, and then Among Us became popular and they canceled that sequel instead to focus on the original game. Because, you know, it became popular. Same thing here. But yeah, that just shows you, like, they're clearly making fun of, like, your Call of Duties. But yeah, it kind of misses, like, that's not how games work anymore. Instead, people just play one game and they make infinite money through microtransactions and whatnot, which, again, they kind of call out AAA studios because, like, the main guy and the main girl in the real world are indie developers who got screwed over by AAA studios. But, like, they're mostly, right, they're picking on that Call of Duty model of, like, a yearly release. And yeah, and, like, I don't want to go into spoilers. I mean, I kind of just did a little bit. But there was, like, this... I used to have a spoiler thing. I could recreate it, but fuck it. There's a thing where, like, the girl is... So they were, like, the guy and the girl. Key was the guy. I don't remember the girl's name. Millie? Was her name Millie? They're, like, indie developers, and they're working on, like, this game about, like, life. Like, the experience of life. But, of course, the thing is that, hey, guess what? Their experience of life was too realistic. And now the NPCs are coming to life. And there are some... There's some good jokes in that. Like, at one point it's, like, the barista who makes the same coffee every day learns what a cappuccino is. And now she's, like, now that... Because, you know, it's not just Guy who's coming to life. And she's, like, coming to life and, like, learning how to make a cappuccino. At one point in the movie, Guy tells this supermodel NPC that, like, hey, you don't have to be attached to a man. You can go out and do whatever you want. And then later on you find out from Key that she went off and she wrote feminist theory. Little preachy, but still, she's writing feminist theory. And I thought they were doing a lesbian thing with her, but I couldn't tell. But it would have been neat. My headcanon is there is some gay in this. Because this is, you know, like when Deadpool, they made the joke that, like, Deadpool is a romance movie. And it kind of is. I'd say the same thing here. This is kind of a romance movie. But yeah, I'm not going to, I'll just say that. The only other thing I do want to talk about, because there are some genuine, like, good things in here that I don't want to spoil. But, like, the main character, or Melissa, the girl, is trying to prove that Taika Waititi's character stole her game's code and illegally used it in Free City, right? Like, they had a contract with Taika Waititi to publish their indie game, but then he screwed them over, and then they're like, oh, well, he stole our code. And she's trying to prove it because, hey, it's a lawsuit. And then once she's convinced, like, oh, she can prove it, she goes to Guy and is like, hey, if we can find proof that he stole our code, then we can stop the game from being... We can successfully get the lawsuit done and stop the game from being shut down. And it's like, oh, that's not how this works at all. Like, Taika Waititi's character would still shut down the game before the lawsuit happens. Like, just because you have evidence that proves that he stole your shit doesn't mean it's actually going to solve any of the problems. And that was, like, my thought process, like, throughout a majority of the movie. And to be fair, they do actually address that. Right? I was like, a lawsuit isn't actually gonna, like, save Guy from being deleted. And no, at the end of the movie, they do actually address that. Yeah, no, the lawsuit wouldn't actually save him. So, good on you, movie. You actually thought ahead to address that. I mean, it's kind of like, It's handled a little sloppily, but you know what? They at least didn't just like leave it up in the air, right? At least they were like somewhat aware, like, hey, this lawsuit isn't actually gonna fully work out, right? Like, it's not gonna give them the desired effect. So yeah, that's good. It's a fine to goodish movie. I don't know. There are definitely worse ways to spend a... Honestly, I guess I would put it on par with Ready Player One, another movie about video games. But yeah. And again, I think I talked about this a long time ago. It's Mogworld. Mogworld is the first book by Yahtzee Croshaw, you know, Zero Punctuation guy. He wrote a book. He's written several, actually. I've read most of them. Some of them are... I thought Jam was fine. We'll Save the Galaxy for Food was pretty interesting. Some fun sci-fi stuff. Differentially Morphus was just... Like, some parts of it, I was like, yeah, I'm down for this. And other parts, I was like, wait, what? I don't know how to feel about that. It really needs a sequel. I know We'll Save the Galaxy for Food got a sequel at some point. But yeah, his first book is called Mogworld. And it's about a fantasy world where the video game NPCs gain sentience. But yeah, and that's all fantasy. Whereas this is like GTA-ish. So yeah, that's what it reminded me of. I never actually finished Mogworld because I read about half of it. I was listening to it on audiobook. And I guess I should say I listened to half of it. And then one day I fell asleep at my desk and I completely lost while I was listening to it. And I just completely lost track of where I was. So it was like, I have no idea where I left off. I'd have no idea where to continue from. So I just never did. I mean, I kind of, the last thing I remember is... it's been so long I couldn't even tell you the last thing I remember now that I think about it. Did they have... I don't remember. It's been too long. If I were to re-listen to it, I'd have to start at the beginning again. I still have the audiobook, because, you know, Audible. I think that was one of the first books I ever got on Audible, if I remember correctly. I don't know, it's been a long time. But yeah, I don't know. But so I don't know how Mogworld ends, admittedly. But that's what it reminded me of, which I'm pretty sure this isn't like the first time they did like, hey, what if the video game NPC was alive and, you know, us real world player could do it, but hey, you know, I don't know, that's just my first thought anyways. And yeah, that's Free Guy. Anything else? Oh yeah, I have some food shit. So as you know, I like to try out weird and stupid food shit. And I actually have two from the same restaurant. Little fucking Caesars. I was always like, you know, Little Caesars, and I'll say the same thing about CC's. You know, the pizza buffet. They're not high quality, but I'm fine with that. Because I used to foolishly believe that any pizza is good pizza, right? Because it's pizza. It's really hard to fuck up. I have now since realized that that's a foolish errand, and you can totally fuck up pizza. And I haven't had CC's in years, so I wouldn't know. But Little Caesars, I had again. I had a few things from them. So I had just normal pizza. It was whatever. But then I like cold pizza. And there are some pizza places, Domino's. I haven't had Pizza Hut in years, or Papa John's. I haven't had them in a long time, so I couldn't tell you about them. But Domino's has some really good cold pizza, right? You put that shit... I like cold pizza, and you put that shit in the freezer, and it's still really good. I'm not starting off with the tail, am I? Yeah, no. Domino's has some really good cold pizza. Little Caesars does not. I put that shit in the freezer... and the next morning, it tasted like garbage. So yeah, fuck that. But I tried out a few other things. They have... So here in Las Vegas, I think there's like 2 other places that have it. They're testing out boneless wings. Right? Because, you know, there was like a wing shortage and whatnot. But Little Caesars was like, hey, we're going to try out like boneless wings. Or like they're basically like tenders or like nugs or whatever. they're exactly what you would expect from Little Caesars, like boneless nug things. And yeah, they're only testing them out in a few locations. I only found out about it through because one of them is Vegas, and they're not, I would not recommend them. Just go to like a Wingstop, go get some actual good wings or whatever, or some nugs or whatever. Oh, come on. But yeah, so I tried that. And the other thing is they have what they're calling the crazy calzone. And it's like Little Caesars calzone. But it's not actually like a calzone because it's like only part. Calzones are amazing. Right? There's a local place here that had an amazing calzone. So fucking good. And then they got bought out. And after they got bought out, the calzone increased in price. It went up like $5, and they cut the size in half, and it fucking sucked because it was still tasted good, but it was just like it was too expensive, and it wasn't like the same, and you didn't get the same for the buck. So that fucking sucked. But so yeah, we'll do one more game. But yeah, so Little Caesars has their crazy calzone, and the pizza was bad. The calzone was fine. I enjoyed it well enough. It uses like several cheeses, and in the like folded bits there's like cheese and like cubed pepperoni, and it reminds, and I can't place it. I cannot, like, I've definitely had like, it's like a white cheese and a cubed pepperoni before. I've had this exact flavor before, because like the cheese is both like melty but also kind of like not chunky, but like it's got some like clump to it, like it bunches up. It reminds me of something, but I cannot for the life of me remember. I've definitely had it before, but I can't tell you where. The closest thing I can think of is like school lunch. You know how they do like Pizza Fridays? It kind of reminds me of that. That's the closest comparison I can make. And while those school lunches are bad, I say I'm not a nostalgic person, but there's a little nostalgia for that. And while I was eating this, I would like take a bite of this like weird like cheesy crust thing, and I was like, it's familiar, but it's not too familiar, but it's still kind of familiar. And I don't know, I guess it just hit the nostalgia. It's like film processing chemicals. I used to have a job mixing and developing film, right? That I used to do that, and I used to make the chemicals, and you used to wear a respirator when you were making them, and then they were fine to use otherwise, or at least I did anyways. At least for some of them, right? You only needed it for like one, but I just kept it on while making the chemicals. And while I did that, one of the chemicals, I think there were 4 chemicals you dipped it in. Maybe it was 3. I don't know. I know developing film and developing pictures use different chemicals. But I know it was always the last chemical had this like, I don't want to say sweet smell, but it had this certain smell that I just loved. I don't like, what is it, me huffing gasoline? I don't fucking know, but I always loved that smell. And I've smelled it in like 1 or 2 other things over the years. Nothing I can name, but it's always been like, what a good smell that is. I don't know, that was just me. I'm fucking weird. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of like that, but with food, with like taste. And yeah, I don't know. So while it's probably not that good, I guess I enjoyed it. I will not get it again, because I think it was like $8. That was the other thing with the wings. The wings were like $6, and it was like, fuck that. You can probably get better wings for cheaper at other places. But the calzone was like $8, and it was like, I mean, again, I thought it was fine. I wouldn't exactly recommend it. I don't know, that it'll be an interesting episode of Face Jam, I guess. I think we talked about this at the beginning. I'm like a dozen episodes behind in Face Jam. Actually, how far am I behind in Face Jam? Face Jam, New Legacy. Can I find out? I know they did Jack in the Box spicy tiny tacos. The Jack in the Box tiny tacos fucking suck. Jack in the Box tacos, pretty good. For what they are, I like Jack in the Box tacos. Jack in the Box tiny tacos, like the tiny tacos, fucking terrible. And I bet the spicy ones were fucking terrible. Oh, they did do Little Caesars back in June, so they won't do the new one. The last Little Caesars I saw, or the last Face Jam episode I listened to, was the Chipotle 21 Pilots burrito. I did like that Twisted Texan burger, that one from Sonic, because, I like to try out weird foods and whatnot. The Twisted Texan burger was good. But yeah, the next episode was the Little Caesars Cheeser Pizza or whatever. And that was June 8th. That was the last time I listened to Face Jam. Because, and even, I don't even try everything. I'm, the spicy tacos at Jack in the Box, the spicy tiny... No, the original ones were fucking garbage. But the normal tacos are so good. So I expected the tiny ones to be good, and they just weren't. Which was such a disappointment. I like the cheese fries from Jack in the Box, though. There's not as much cheese as you'd want, but... I liked it. I like the flavor. I'm a fan of Jack in the Box. They're not that, you can definitely get better things at other places, but I don't know, man. They just hit the spot sometimes. God, yeah, they did Torchy's, Wendy's, Burger. I did have that Burger King chicken sandwich. I thought it was fine. A Red Robin thing. Man. I got podcasts to catch up on. I just looked at the last date. I didn't even see how many episodes behind I was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus, I think there was a live that might have been their live show. The Jack in the Box. No, the tacos just came out recently. I think the Scorpion Burger might have been their live show. I don't know anymore. I know they did a live episode for RTX, and yeah. And did they not release the RTX thing for the trying food? Where they announced the little thingy? I don't know. What the fuck are we even talking about? Yeah, the Little Caesar's calzone was whatever. Again, kind of reminds me of a school lunch or something like that. Which, if you're into that, hey, guess what? You might have a good time. I don't know, man. Anything else? No, I guess that takes us to the outro. So, I've been just very busy. I have been very busy. It's a lot, right? Now that, summer classes were a lot, but they were a lot in a short period of time. This is a lot, but it's going to be stretched out a little more. And it's not a lot. It's a lot. It's just long hours. I can totally do it. Admittedly, there is a little imposter syndrome, but I'm working on that. Oh wow, only... God, those gold rings are a lot. Nope. But yeah, enchant's still going. We're just doing Fall Guys at the moment. I don't plan on changing that. Same thing with the date. I will see next week if things change. Because, I start a new class on Monday. So, that might change things up a little bit. But, so far, right, everything's been manageable enough. I don't think the stream crashed today, which was nice. But yeah, I've just been busy. Nothing I can't do. I'm just exhausted. And I'm gonna go. I'm like literally. This is ending. I'm gonna go brush my teeth, and then I'm going to bed. I do want to get that hot dog tomorrow though. I do because I do have the weekend off, so I have to do some readings. Like I have some books to read. Oh God, I didn't even fuck. I finished Awada's that Ask Awada book. I started reading it. I cried at the opening because fuck, and I cried at the end. But then I didn't touch it for weeks, months even. And this week I've had right in, but like there are times where I'm just like sitting there, just doing like I have like hours in between classes where like because you know the university is all in person, so I'm just like sitting there with nothing to do for an hour. So I brought Ask Awada with me and I sat down and I read it, and I finished it. And yeah, fuck. There at the end of the book, you hear Miyamoto and Shigesato Itoi talk about Awada, and fuck it. Oh my God, it made me cry. Even just reading the quote on the back of the book is enough to bring a tear to my eye. Again, it's the like I don't really get it with celebrity death. Like it doesn't really. One day they will, I'm sure, but like they don't really do anything for me. But Awada is the one exception. It just it's a tragedy. And yeah, reading that, I enjoyed it. It's admittedly I can't with Ask Awada. Admittedly, I kind of expected more of like a biography, and there are some biographical elements to it, like and some I guess autobiographical elements. So like on to that end, it's like, oh, that's interesting. But he also like it goes into like a lot of like business and business philosophy and how Nintendo, he ran Nintendo as a business, and how he ran HAL Laboratories as a business and as a coder, and it's just really interesting. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I know Reggie either put out a book or is putting out a book about his experience as well. And I think that's also going to be interesting. I don't know if I'll read that one. I might. But definitely, I'm glad I read the Awada book. That's really fucking good. I enjoyed it. It's also pretty short. I think it's only like 150 pages. Again, I was able to read it in like 3 days. But it just took me forever to get to. Because, you know, I'm sitting there and I don't want to just surf Twitter for like 2 hours. And while I could be doing podcasts, I don't know, I like to like play a video game and do a podcast. And admittedly, I put on, because, you know, I sit there, I read the book, and then I have headphones in. And I can't listen to like music with lyrics because I get distracted. But I listen to video game soundtracks. I've been listening to Sayonara Wild Hearts, which I'm still just fucking endlessly addicted to. And Undertale soundtrack. I listened to that one as well. And that one's, admittedly, I think for like what I'm going for, I think Sayonara Wild Hearts soundtrack works a lot better because it's more consistent, whereas Undertale is very varied. Which, for the game, is great, but for like what I'm looking for in the soundtrack, yeah, it's not really what I want. I should probably go find... I don't know. I should probably find some other stuff, but... Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's where we're going to end it off. We'll be back next week. Hopefully I'll have that golden hot dog. Yeah, hopefully I'll have that golden hot dog. I don't know. I'll try with it tomorrow. Yeah, other than that, I don't have a Switch until, who knows, until October. So I'll have a new Switch then. Will we actually stream anything on it? I don't know. I've been thinking about streaming Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I actually did want to stream Sword and Shield. I was going to, because I played Shield, but I can get a copy of Sword. Like, I can get a cheap copy of Sword. And I was like, I might do that, but, Switch broke and just all my plans were ruined. Still haven't played Skyward Sword, and I think I'm just going to give up on Skyward Sword. Like, seriously, I'm not getting to it anytime soon. I think I'm just going to give up on Skyward Sword, and I'll get to it when I get to it. I was going to buy Disco Elysium, and I completely forgot, because it was on sale, and I pushed it off for like a month, and then I just forgot about it. I should just play Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War. Ugh. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. I won't lie. We're all gonna die. I'm just gonna go watch Mitten Squad and go to sleep. More freaking miniature nerd, which is I've been watching some of that as well. I've been addicted to Fallout. You know, I've only ever played Fallout 4, and yet I'm addicted to watching Fallout on YouTube. Fallout 4, Fallout 3, not the first two, but you know, mostly Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4. I am just addicted. And yet I've only ever played Fallout 4. I really want to play New Vegas. It's on Game Pass. Admittedly, my Game Pass is now expired. I think it expires on the 23rd, so I have until what, for Monday? I have until Monday. You know, that's enough time to play 12 minutes. Which I hear is only like 4. I hear that game only got like 70s in reviews, which kind of sucks because it's one of the games I was anticipating. But you know, I might. I don't know. We'll see. I guess I got a lot to do this weekend, and 12 minutes is a more narrative game, whereas I can listen to a book and try to win this hot dog. I don't know. We'll see when the time comes. I'm going to bed. Yeah, I'm tired. I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time. Peace.